Today on the Build Different podcast, we have Noah, owner of Meticulous Detailing here in London, Ontario. 20-year-old stud. I know we talked briefly a little bit before, so I want to have you on the pod and have a good conversation here.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, bro. All right, so I want to start off with early childhood. So I want to know a couple of things. First thing, what was it like growing up with your parents? What was your situation in terms of parental guidance like?
Well, as far as growing up, I grew up here, obviously in London, Ontario, born and raised. Grew up with a older sister. Mom and dad were always around, so they're still around till today, so that's awesome. Growing up was great, to be honest. Like, I was always involved in sports, played soccer growing up, and then, yeah, man, it was always a good ride growing up for sure.
Cool. And what was it like as you as a kid? What were you like as a kid?
Me as a kid, I was ambitious from really the get-go. Like I remember being 6 years old and I just moved into the neighborhood I still live in today, and I was going around trying to make an extra buck, pushing around a lawnmower, knocking on doors like, "Hey, do you guys want your grass cut for $20?" And like I remember the handlebars of the lawnmower being higher than my head. Like I was so young, just trying to make some extra cash. So from early on, I was always kind of a go-getter, and I always kept stuff to myself, and I was just a big thinker. Like I still am like that today, but yeah, just growing up, just really ambitious, to be honest with you.
So you were cutting lawns from the age of 6 to when?
I'd probably say 6 to 8, and then did some more stuff like that, landscaping with a buddy, kind of a couple years later down the road. But yeah, like probably between 6 and 8, I was just going around every summer trying to make, an extra $20 a day or something, whatever I can get my hands on, really to.
So you're just always hustling.
Exactly.
That's fire, dude.
So yeah.
And so what was it like in like public school for you?
I went to Jean Benier's Catholic school in Westmount, just across from Westmount Mall. So I had a great school, to be honest. I stayed in the same elementary school for the full kindergarten through grade 8, and the guys that I met back then are still my buddies now. So we've been around for 15 years. So
Damn.
I can't really complain. It's been really a perfect childhood for me.
Cool. And so what was it like who were you in public school? Were you what guy were you? Because we always say, like, if you listen to some of our other podcasts, we're always talking about like the different guys in the group, right? Like you might have 5-10 friends.
Yeah.
And you always have like one guy who kind of takes leadership in the group and kind of schedules everything, does everything.
Yeah.
Where did you fall in the group?
I would definitely say I was more of a leader early on. Like I was always the guy, like I was always doing shit on the weekends. Like, as I said, I was cutting lawns where my buddies were playing video games and stuff like that. So they kind of looked up to me as more of a kind of an older dude. I feel like older soul. Like even Hodge that works for you, his parents call me Uncle Noah. Like I'm kind of the old soul, and I've always been since a young age, just trying to do stuff that older people do. I was always trying to kind of one up myself, one up my peers. Not in a bad way, but just in trying to get ahead.
Yeah, just high expectations for
Exactly.
yourself. That's dope, dude. Okay, so you get into high school in what year? When did you get into high school?
I got into high school 2019, I believe.
2019?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So did you graduate during COVID?
No, COVID ended halfway through grade 11, and then so it would have been 2023 when I graduated, I believe.
Cool. So what was the high school experience like? Grade 9 to grade 12?
Getting into high school is a little shaky. Like I was kind of I wouldn't say a threat, but like I was kind of as tall as I am now. And I remember getting into grade 9, and I had an older sister that was in grade 12. So I felt like I could get away with a lot of shit that I definitely couldn't have gotten away with. So I was always talking to girls that were a couple years older than me or a year older than me. And that kind of created a little bit of a ruckus for me starting out, because I was talking to a guy's basically girlfriend in grade 9 and ended up, I know Hodge remembers this one. I was in a math test, and I was taking too long, and so I stayed during lunch period, and I had really no idea what was going on. Like I had buddies coming in during, like I was the last guy in the room. Buddies popping in, "Hey, all the grade 10s are looking for you, Noah. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What's going on, man? Like they're all looking for you." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Anyways, so it's to the point now where the teacher in the class is like, "No, what's going on? Like, do you have some problems with people that needs to be, corrected or something like that?" And I was like, I think these grade 10s are just pissed at me. They're just trying to get in my head, whatever. And so she's like, okay, so now there's been 4 guys that have came to my room saying there's a bunch of grade 10s looking for you. We're not going to let you, I'm not letting you go. I'm going to let the principal know something's going on in the school. So anyways, I'm like, no, save the hassle. Like, I'm just going to go and deal with this. So I get out of my math class. I'm by myself, got my backpack on. And I just remember going down the stairs, hanging a left, and there's a funnel down the hallway. Like, I swear to God, it felt like a movie of like 100 kids coming up to me like, yo, like, dude, what's going on, man? Like, what are you doing? Talking to my girlfriend. And all the grade 10s were just pressing me at that point. And it was a little hit to the confidence early on in high school, but then things definitely kind of got better. But then COVID hit halfway through grade 9 and didn't really see much high school, to be honest.
Damn. Okay. So you were actually only in school for like half grade 9.
Half grade 9 and then half of grade 11 and then full grade 12 was normal. So
damn.
Really
okay.
2 years of normal high school.
Cool. And so when you were actually in high school, because I know COVID was kind of a shit show, right? Where it's like you could like fuck around online. Like, what were you doing during COVID? Like, I know you're in high school, but like, were you really like trying, or were you working, or what were you doing?
No, I was fucking like basically. The teacher sent out a thing saying that work wasn't mandatory for us to do. So I basically.
That's a fucking mistake.
Yeah, I know. That was a big mistake. I remember it was a French teacher that sent it out. Try and get this done, but it's not mandatory if you don't complete it, right?
Especially in French class.
Oh, exactly. I'm like, I'm not doing French. So anyways, basically didn't do anything. I wasn't a big gamer at the time, but I got into Fortnite and shit like that and wasted probably 2 years of my life. Eating junk food, got really fat, came out of COVID, wasn't working out or anything, and then grade 11, things got normal, and then I was like, holy shit, like, I'm 6'1" and I weigh like 210 pounds and I'm 16 years old. Like, what am I doing? Like, so that was, I grew up overweight. I remember you saying in another podcast you were overweight in high school as well.
Yeah, dude, I was fucking heavy, bro. I was like grade 8, I was like 200 something pounds at like fucking 5'8".
Like, you know? I remember.
Like, I was a monster.
I remember in grade 4 weighing myself. I was always self-conscious growing up, and I'm too hard on myself sometimes. But grade 4, I step on the scale, and I'm like 110 pounds. And I'm like, I feel like all my other buddies are like 60 pounds or something like that. Like, am I 50 pounds obese? Like, what's going on here? So, yeah, growing up was kind of it was a little shaky for the confidence, but things got a little better going into grade 12 and when COVID
So you started working out right out of COVID?
Yeah, grade 11 basically. I started hitting the gym with my buddy, and we were going like every day, and I was making some gains, making some progress, getting in better shape. But it was definitely before that it was not the best mentally, obviously, and being in COVID too. You know, being overweight, like it wasn't a great time.
So how were your grades in like grade 11, 12? Like after COVID happened, you come back into school. Like, what are your grades like? Are you good at school? Or are you like fuck school?
So in grade 9, I was pretty good in school. I got honors. Grade 8 got honors too. So I wasn't excelling by any means, but I was just passing by like an 81 average probably. And then as soon as grade 11 hit, I got offered. I took an apprenticeship course for trim carpentry. Okay. And when the guy, the co-op guy, introduced trim to me, he's like, no, I know a guy that does trim, and I'm like, what's trim? And I'm like, he's like the baseboards and shit that goes around your house, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll try that out. So I start working with this guy, and I'm kind of excelling at it. I'm like, oh, I might actually like construction. This could be a future career for me. Anyways, a couple months go by. He's like, hey, dude, if you want to stay later in this co-op, I'll pay you. And I was like, obviously I'm going to stay. So turn into like for 6 months, that whole like second half of grade 11, I was just basically working trim for like the whole day in high school. Like I had the most reported missing classes of English in grade 11. And I think the teacher still talks, like I had like 39 missed English classes because I was just working all day trying to make money in grade 11. And I think that honestly contributed a lot of my drive for work, but it also hurt the grades big time back then. So
you always kind of had a mindset of like you didn't really plan on going into like university or any shit like that.
No, like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, maybe I'll be an engineer one day, and then that faded away. And I was like, I like working and making money, not sitting in a classroom, and I'm not doing anything anyways in school. I like even the classes I was in that I wouldn't skip, I wasn't doing anything. I was like, you know what, might as well just be working, making some extra money.
100%. Okay, so then you go through grade 11, second half of grade 11, you're dialed into working, right? You're doing a lot of trim, baseboard.
Yeah.
Right. The summer happens. What are you doing that summer? Are you still working for that guy?
So that guy ended up kind of slacking off on him. I started going back to school because a lot of the principal was getting involved with my absences, and to the point where I couldn't, like, I may have not passed a bunch of classes because of all my absences. So I had to kind of smarten up end of grade 11. And going into grade 12, I found a different company to work for trim. So I started working for him, and I worked full time grade 11 through grade 11 summer going into grade 12. Really the only guy working full time. Like, and I look back on that, and I'm like, maybe I should have enjoyed some more time, but at the same time, it was worth it in the short term for my discipline aspect at a young age. But yeah, I worked for that guy, and went back to school for grade 12, and yeah, that was basically it for trim, I'd say.
So did you have at that time? Did you have anybody that you like looked up to at that time? Like, are you really starting to get into like potentially thinking about starting your own business at this time, or more or less you just wanted to make money?
I was more like, I wanted to be a business owner from early on, as you can see with the cutting grass and stuff like that. Like, I had various part-time jobs, but I could never stick to anything. I was like, I cannot see myself working for 18 bucks an hour for 8 hours a day, making like just over $100. Like, it just, I was always had that, I want to open my own business, and it just took time to kind of figure out a route for myself to go, right?
100%. So in grade 12, how was that? Last year of high school.
Last year of high school, I got in there, and I actually take back what I said. I didn't finish trim right at the end of the summer. I kept working with him, and he was telling me basically, hey, can you come work after school? So I'd leave school at around 2:05, go blast out to Port Stanley. We were doing a bunch of condos, and I'd go out there and work until 8, 9 o'clock, and then drive home. And then, I was still slacking on my school at the same time. So there was one day that, and we didn't really text. It was kind of unwritten. It was just like, you're going to show up Monday to Friday after school. And one day I was like, I texted him at like 1 o'clock, and I was like, hey dude, I can't make it today. Like, I got to get this assignment done or else I'm literally failing the course. And the guy was like, I know, like, I rely on you. You're really my only guy that's helping me. Like, I can't just, you can't give me an hour notice that you're not going to show up. And I was like, all right, so what are you saying? He's like, you're done. So that was the end of that. I say that was probably midway through grade 12.
What was the assignment for? What course?
Oh, it was religion. It was a religion assignment, and I was sitting. It was last year.
Is that intense? Like, is that like, because it's kind of like history a little bit? No,
It wasn't intense, but it was just like a lot of memorization. So it was kind of just annoying. Like, I never want to crack the book and sit there for 2 hours and trying to remember.
It's kind of like English.
Yeah, exactly. It was the same idea, and it was the last class. So basically, a lot of times grade 12, I'd skip out on the last class because I'd want to go home early, hang out with my buddies, do whatever, and it kind of bit me in the ass because I wasn't handing anything in, and then all of a sudden, bang, you need to get this in or else you're not going to graduate high school. So I had to tell the boss, can't work.
Yeah,
so.
damn. Yeah, English is a fucking psyop course anyway. It's
100%.
fucking useless. Anyone that knows me knows that I can't spell worth shit.
No,
but at the same time, like, fuck it, Like, I'm not here to learn about Romeo and Juliet.
No,
and
exactly.
Fucking stories. I'm
but
here to make some money.
Outdated too, right? Like,
100%.
Like, I'm not here to read books for.
Well, we were actually, I can't remember who I was talking to. One of the guys.
Yeah.
But we were actually talking that, like, with English class especially, like, it's always good to, like, remember history and remember what happened and all that stuff, right? Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, why aren't we learning, like, some practical shit here? Like, you're about to leave high school, probably, I don't know, 30, 40% of the people are just going right into the workforce anyway. Yeah. So it's like, why don't we learn a little bit about fucking what we can actually do with our money or how to budget or any of that stuff,
exactly.
Right?
And that's the thing with my mentality back then. I was seeing through school where a lot of people were just going through the motion. I'm going to show up to this class. I'm going to do the work. And for me, it was like, okay, I'm sitting in an English class learning Romeo and Juliet. It's like, how am I going to apply this? And that was just my mindset through high school. And I couldn't snap out of that. So I never really dialed in. But I mean, it hasn't bit me in the ass yet, but hopefully it doesn't, right?
Just got to keep pushing, dude.
Exactly.
So, okay. So you get out of high school. What do you do right out of high school?
So right out of high school, I remember I had a girlfriend at the time, so I was kind of hanging out with her, and then at the same time, I was like scrolling through Indeed. I'm like, fuck, my parents probably want me to get a full-time job, and I need to start, making some serious adult money. Well, as far as 18 bucks an hour gets you, but making some money, working full-time. So I started scrolling through Indeed, I see, oh, mobile detailer for marine and automotive. And I'm like, okay, I've had some experience with that sort of stuff. I'm going to give it a shot. So I applied. Guy called me back. Hey, you're hired. And this was like probably 3 weeks after high school. So start working with him and basically worked with him for about 9 months until starting my business.
Okay, cool. So you worked, so 9 months out of high school, where does that put you? Like what month is that?
9 months out of high school would have been probably around,
Like is that February, March the next year?
be like March, yeah.
Okay, so that's March of what year? What year are we in right now?
2024.
2024. Okay, so that's last year.
Yeah, last year I would have started, yeah.
Damn.
100%.
Okay, so you actually started the detailing business right before going into summer.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Strategically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so what was that like? Like what was actually your decision making in terms of, okay, I'm actually done working for people here. I'm just going to go start my own thing.
The biggest thing for me was I felt like I wasn't getting compensated properly. Like if you could imagine being out, it's August, it's, obviously I worked in the prior summer during the hot season. It's August, it's 34 degrees out. You're in a marina polishing boats for $19 an hour, dripping sweat. And I knew deep down, I'm like, okay, you got to put the hard work in at some point and you got to work for the man. But it was just a bunch of things started adding up and I was like, okay, I'm done with this guy. Like I tried to ask for like a 50-cent raise and it was like, no, man, maybe we'll try and get you there like within a year. Like maybe we can get you $20 an hour. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to work for you for a year to make an extra $1. Yeah. So then I was like, you know what? I'm pretty good at what I do. Let's fucking go full tilt into this business and see what I can do. I was kind of blindly going into it. Like I had really no idea the business side. I knew how to do the shit, but I didn't know really how to start a business or anything like that. So,
So did you start watching YouTube or how did you actually get a hold of like the business side of stuff?
So my grandfather, he runs Facebook ads for companies. So he helps scale companies and he used to own a jewelry store here in London. He lives in Australia now. So I call him up one day. I'm like, hey, I'm dying to quit this job. Like, I want to start my own thing. Like, what do I do? And he's like, well, first thing you need to make a website, and you got to get some customers. So he starts running me through Facebook ads. So basically, this started in about, I'd say around December when I was still working the detailing job. That's when I called my grandpa. I was like, hey, like let's get this going. And December through basically April, I quit in April, I believe. We were just grinding ads for a few months, like every night after work. And not to mention, I was working basically 7 o'clock in the morning. We'd go out of town, so we'd drive an hour and a half, get there for 8:30, work probably 9 hours, and get home at probably 8, 9 o'clock at night. So I had no downtime. So anytime I could basically get at the end of the night, I spent doing Facebook ads to get this business going. And I was like, getting home after doing hard labor for 10 hours or 13 hours, I was basically gone. And then doing Facebook ads was like, holy shit, like, is this really worth it? Like, and I didn't know what I was doing. He's on a Zoom call with me, and I'm trying to figure this shit out.
He's in Australia at this time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. his time, and it's obviously 9 o'clock at night our time, right? 24-hour difference. So we're trying to always make it work, and basically every night for 4 months, I was putting these ads together. Shit would stop working. You probably know what Facebook ads is like. It can be difficult, right?
Oh, yeah.
They give you errors all the time. And
so were you running them yourself? Or did you pay somebody to do it? Like
no, so like he was just helping me, but it was all under my own ad account.
Oh shit!
So it was all my money, and I didn't pay anyone necessarily to do it. He was just kind of mentoring me through the process, and then I was just praying to God that as soon as I release these ads, once the warm weather comes out, something's gonna work so I can quit this job.
Yeah. So what were you putting in terms of like ad spend, like per day?
So per day, I think it was like. I had 3 different ads going. I think for each it was like worked out to like $10 or something like that a day. Mm-hmm. But then over the course of I ran them for like 4 months. I spent about $1,500 in ads. And then I remember, it's a little bit of a story here. I remember when I launched the ads, it was probably in March. And I'm like, okay, if these work, then I'm quitting my job. If they don't, then obviously I got to stay with doing the detailing. So I launched the ads every day at work. I'm going through my phone, Facebook ad, business account, whatever, trying to see if, replies or emails came in through my website. Nothing for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh my God. And at this point, my boss can tell I'm getting fed up too with work. So I'm just basically scrolling every day trying to see if someone replied. And I remember there was this one day, it just got warm out of nowhere too. The weather warmed it right up. Get like 3 responses on the same day. And I'm like, holy shit. Like 3 days after that, tell my boss, hey, I'm putting my 2 weeks in. So at this point, I'm done. I'm committing to the business. And I remember.
So would you say that right there was the turning point for where you were like, holy fuck, like this might actually
100%.
work?
I spent 4 months working on something for like 3-4 hours a night, like Monday through Friday, every day, bugging my grandpa. And I'm like, I pray to God this works. And it started working. And I was like, oh my God, like might be in business now. So anyways, basically I booked up about 5 jobs within the 2 weeks that I gave to my boss. And I booked those 5 jobs Monday through Friday. So I remember I made about $5,000 my first week in business. And my parents didn't really know what I was doing. They were like, they didn't know too much about the detailing thing. And I was just like, yeah, I'm trying to start my own business. And they didn't know the money or anything that was involved in it. And at the end of the week, I was pretty hush-hush about everything. At the end of the week, I just come home, slap $5,000 down on the table. And they're like, how much money is that? I'm like, $5,000. And they're like, holy shit, like your first week in business. And that was pretty nuts. So that's kind of how it all got started. That was the big motivator. And it was kind of like, you know, you don't see results for 4 or 5 months and then bang, like, you know.
Fuck yeah, dude. And especially with Facebook ads too. Facebook ads are tough because I actually never even tried to do Facebook ads on my own.
Oh, really?
I resorted right to door to door.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
It is. So I did door to door like first, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So when I joined Trade Launch, obviously you know Trade Launch now, right? I think we talked about it a bit.
Yeah.
So I joined Trade Launch as a student originally. And that's where I learned door to door was, okay, so I didn't really have any money to throw up and put into Facebook ads. So I was like, fuck it, bro. I'm just going to go out and hit some doors. And then I hired a company to actually run our ads. And so now we have a company that runs all of our ads for us. So we pay them a fee, like a flat fee per month.
Yeah.
And then we give them, I don't know what it is. I think it's like 8 or 10K a month.
Okay.
And then they put that into ad spend.
So then you're saving your time and the pain in the ass to actually do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Just because it's like, you got to know where your strengths are and where they're not.
Exactly.
So you got to make sure that you're leveraging your time properly, right?
Because even after 4 months of me trying to do it, like even if I went now to start Facebook ads, I'd have to get his help again because it's just intricate and you gotta know what you're doing. It's got to be like a full-time gig that you're doing, or else you're gonna be spending way too much time compared to someone just paying someone to do it.
Have you ever thought of door to door in like Grand Bend, Port Franks, anything like that?
Well, when we were out for dinner, Connor, he mentioned that to me, and he was like, and Hodge did too, and they're like, dude, you should go and bang doors. And I was kind of thinking to myself, that could be a possibility, but I haven't learned sales. Not to say that I can't just go and bang doors and try, but I'd probably want to practice before I went out and did that. But yeah, I was thinking maybe implementing that soon.
Absolutely. Because that might be something too where it's like if you go to the right areas, and obviously you're going to know where all the right areas are around us.
100%.
But if you can find those areas, that might be super, super beneficial, especially as it gets warmer, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So,
yeah, and then go on.
No, I was going to say, so last summer, right? That was your first summer of business.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And so you ran some Facebook ads. So how many jobs do you know? How did you complete that summer?
So that summer, I basically, as soon as I got the first 5 jobs, I remember right after that, it's kind of slowed down, but then word of mouth started getting around about my business. And then I wasn't getting as many replies through Facebook, and it was more just word of mouth. Okay, now I got another job next week. I got another job. And then eventually got to the point, I shut the ads off. I spent about $1,500 and got basically about $26,000 worth of revenue within my first year, basically.
That's fire.
From $1,500 spent. So I was like, but to me at that point, I wasn't knowledgeable about business and the numbers behind it. But now knowing and talking to guys like you, like that's pretty damn good.
That is good.
First summer in business, right?
100%. So what is your average ticket size? You know, like what are you selling?
I would say average size would be $1,200, I'd say. So it's pretty low ticket, but
and you're doing mostly boats.
Yeah, mostly boats. I don't really touch cars too much, just because interior detailing, like there's not much money to be made in it. But yeah, it's mostly boats for now.
Yeah, and one of the boys was saying that you got a plane.
Yeah, I just got a plane to do within the next couple of weeks, so that's going to be a whole nother chapter of the business, and hopefully get into doing more planes and boats at some point.
Aviation detailing.
Exactly, right?
That's crazy, bro.
And private jets and shit like that.
That'd be fucking nuts.
100%.
So last summer, you finished. When does your season end typically?
So the last summer, I basically had jobs until about August, and then it started to slow down, and then I was that's when I had to kind of pivot and start thinking, okay, now what am I going to do during the wintertime? So then at that point, I was slowing down. I was talking to my one buddy at the gym, and he was like, yo, there's a cleaning company that's hiring. And I was like, okay, well, now I'm back to square one. I'm doing labor work. They're a steam cleaning company for Drullo apartment buildings. And I was like, you know what? I need some money. I'm going to start doing this. So anyways, I start working. I'm grinding for him and just steam cleaning shit. And then basically 9 months later, so about a month ago, I got promoted to operations manager for the company. And alongside that, now I'm doing the detailing, which is starting to get a little difficult to run both at the same time because obviously there's only so much time in a day. And trying to book up as many weekends as I can doing the detailing, Monday to Friday with the other job. So it's been a little complex right now, but especially as the business is growing too. So trying to utilize all my time properly right now.
Okay, so then through the winter you're doing the steam cleaning thing.
Yeah.
And did you have time to actually go through and kind of game plan how you're going to approach this summer?
What happened, to be honest, I had no idea that I was going to be doing the detailing again this summer.
Okay.
As I said, I was pretty much blind to the numbers and how well I actually did. I didn't really have, until like a couple weeks ago, I didn't have a CRM that told me, okay, this is how much revenue you made. And then literally a couple weeks ago, I kind of put some numbers together and I was like, holy shit, like I made that much. And then basically April of this year, my phone starts blowing up and I'm like, people want this service again. And I didn't think before that, I didn't think twice about it. I was like, I'm just going to work through the summer doing the steam cleaning shit. And then the business is, I didn't even think about it. And then next, thing you know, my phone's blowing up in April. Can you come polish my boat? And I was like, oh shit, I actually might have something here. So that's kind of what happened there.
So
Yeah.
April, so those are all reoccurring clients.
Exactly. Most of them are reoccurring. And then as I started doing those on the weekend, I started getting more jobs, like this guy with the plane and stuff like that. It just kept, it's been snowballing. So
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
So now we're in June 2025. So what do you have booked so far? Do you know?
So as far as I got the plane booked, and then today I told you, today was a huge day. So for the viewers that are watching, I just went out for dinner with Connor and Matt Hodgins. We were sitting at the table talking, and I was like, Connor, do I have a real business here? And he's looking at the numbers, and he's like, 100%, dude. So anyways, 3 days go by, and I'm starting to put together that CRM a little better, more organized, and kind of taking a look at things.
Are you using Jobber?
No, I use Airtable.
Airtable.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
So I'm using that, and I'm starting to put some numbers together. So I start texting some clients. I'm like, hey, did you want your boat done again this year from last year? And some people get back to me and whatnot, and I'm starting to realize, okay, so reaching out to people is probably going to help, scale the business a little more, and started getting some more jobs booked up for down the road. And then obviously I detailed your fleet truck, and a guy that saw me doing that on Instagram just contacted me today, and he's like, hey, I own an electrical company, and I got basically 12, 13 trucks. Do you want to do the exterior polishing on it? I was like, sure, how much? And in my head, I'm thinking, he's not going to want to do the number I got in mind. Next thing you know, I'm like, it's going to be around 10 grand. And he's like, done deal. So
Damn.
literally today, close $10,000, 3-4 days after just having a dinner with these guys and realizing, holy shit, I actually got a real business here.
Yeah, that's fucking huge, dude. Good for you.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And so now, what is your game plan for the rest of this summer?
As far as this summer, I'm going to try, obviously I got the other job, so I'm going to try and book up Saturdays and Sundays. But with this now fleet, I'm going to have to hire at least an occasional guy to come in and help me for those. Maybe while I'm doing the other full-time job, he's going to be out on jobs doing some stuff by himself after I've trained him, and kind of just go through the summer booking weekends for now until I kind of come up with a game plan for next year. By next March, I basically want to have a plan in place for next summer about hiring guys, putting some systems in place, and really getting this business to the next level.
Yeah, that's dope, dude. And have you ever thought about doing like still automotive detailing, but then maybe just like you could do door to door anywhere and do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we when I worked with the old job, we did cars, and it's like, let's say we detail a car. We got 2 guys detailing it. It takes 2 hours. You charge, I don't know, $200, like products, gas, because we were a mobile service too, and I'm a mobile service. So by the time you factor in everything, it's like, could I make more money doing boats with these 2 hours than I could doing car detailing and working with, ship vehicles that are trashed, right? And so that's not really the route I wanted to take, to be honest with you. But it's definitely an opportunity. If I wanted to have another whole crew doing just cars, doing door to door, trying to sell that type of way, but for now, I'm just gonna stick with the marine side of things and hopefully get into some planes.
That's sick. So boats, planes, anything else that you do?
I've touched some RVs.
Okay, nice.
So like getting into some RVs, those are big projects. So I like doing those. They're higher ticket. As I said, like my average is $1,200 for the boats, where the RVs are more upwards of $2,000 at least. So that's another route too, right?
So, and have you ever thought about doing like home cleaning or anything like that, or just really sticking to like the aviation, marine?
I know where my skill's at.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to stretch it and start getting into home cleaning and shit like that. And I got to also figure out what I'm doing with my full-time job right now, because
For sure.
I got responsibilities to fulfill with that company and then this company. I don't want to go too crazy and get out of hand with, scaling a business that 5 days a week I'm not even a part of, right? So I got to kind of watch it for now. But yeah, that's the game plan for right now.
Cool. And are you thinking about turning the Facebook ads back on at all?
I was thinking that because in the next couple weeks, like I got jobs booked. I'm going on a vacation next weekend just for the weekend, and then I got jobs booked for 2 weekends after that. But I was hoping to fire up some ads when I get back to then book for the rest of the summer. So that's kind of the game plan there. But as I said, I might have to start paying someone to manage all that for me, because it is a pain in the ass, as you know. So
Absolutely, dude. And so where your job lies right now, so you're an ops manager for a steam cleaning company for Drulo?
yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. And so what would you need to actually quit your job? You know what I mean? Like what do you think you need right now to be able to actually go in and say, fuck it, I'm done?
So yeah, I've been thinking about this, and it's more of I got a tight relationship with my boss, which is really holding me back. He is my neighbor, like he lives houses down from me. So it's a weird position for me to be in, and he's really giving me the leap of faith, giving me the operations manager, putting me on a salary at 20 years old, right? And giving me all this responsibility. And for me to up and leave on him would be shitty for him, but at the same time, it is probably going to be a good possibility that it's going to happen within the next 12 months, because this business is like, if I'm making $1,000 to $2,000 a weekend, or even $3,000 a weekend, it's kind of a no-brainer that the job that I'm getting paid under $2,000 every 2 weeks doesn't really make sense for me to stick around, right? But we'll see what happens with everything at the end of the day.
Do you believe in what you're building over there?
That's the other point of it. It's like, I don't want to get stuck in this detailing gig and end up finding out that it's harder for me to scale than I thought it was. And then I'm 35 years old and I'm still going at it, polishing boats, maybe with one other or two other guys. Because that's what my old boss was. He was around 35 years old, putting in 12-hour days. And I'm like, I can't, that's not where I want to be in 10 years, right? Like, I want to be, hopefully have something built, have some systems built, and then I just kind of manage the business. And that's what I'm slowly starting to uncover with talking to you guys, is that really it is scalable at the end of the day. It's just putting in the work and learning these systems to put in place and hiring the right people, right?
And honestly, dude, like I would not shy away from any business at all, especially like with the detailing and stuff.
Yeah.
Because to me, a business is just a vessel to get you from point A to point B. You know what I mean? To get you into something bigger, right? Like, do you have, obviously I know, like, are you passionate about detailing itself?
I definitely take pride in what I do, for sure. Like when I'm on jobs, I'm not taking shortcuts. Like I am enjoying it, but there are days, like you'd imagine, sitting out in the sun. I bet you've probably been there too when you were on the tools back in the day with Powerhouse. Like it gets tough. Like you're on your own. There's no one else to ask questions. There's no one else there to hold your hand. You're just there in the sun, in the heat, busting your ass 8 hours, 9 hours to get shit done for people. So,
and I think too, the other aspect that I would always keep in mind, especially for you, is always know that anything is scalable if you put in the right time. Like everything is fucking hard to scale, dude.
Yeah.
Like even as me as a contractor, there's thousands of other contractors in this general area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's really just about how can you separate yourself from the pack,
100%.
whether that be through systems, whether that be through your experience, your work, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that will scale your business more than anything. Obviously, you have systems, you have people, right? But at the end of the day, if you don't have a good product or a good experience, it's going to be fucking tough, right?
Exactly.
And so when you're working for this company, Steam Cleaning and stuff, do you believe in what they're doing? Like, is this something that you could see yourself there long term?
My boss has definitely mentioned some opportunities for down the road, some salary, like some variable salaries that could be mine at one point if I stick around with the company. But even
Can I ask you what the number is?
it's like $150,000-$200,000 a year, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's a lot of people that die for that money. But being an ambitious person, and obviously like for you, you probably would want to make a little more than 150 grand a year at some point, right? Especially
Millions.
especially if you're putting hard work into a business or whatnot, or you're busting your ass for a steam cleaning company, whatever you're doing, right? Like, you want to, especially with us, for ambitious people, we want to get past that kind of normal aspect of $150,000 a year salary, right? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I always think too, like as a business owner, I think especially when you're going to somebody, like I think from a business owner perspective, that by sharing the numbers with you, that's going to keep you there, which is what he wants. He needs an ops manager.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So by showing you the carrot and saying, hey, this is what you can have, you know what I mean? That's going to make you settle down a little bit.
Exactly.
Is what he thinks.
Yeah.
Right? And so always keep that in mind, because you got to make sure, like, if you truly believe and you want to build that business, then entrepreneurship is a real thing.
100%.
You know what I mean? Where you're not the business owner, but you're fucking building a business every day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But you also got to ask yourself, is this something that I want to do for the rest of my life, and have a cap on how much money I can make while doing it?
That's the tough part about it. It's like, I believe in the company and I believe what could come down the road, but even looking at that and what's going to come with me, as he's already given me kind of my end goal, it kind of shuts you down a little bit. When you almost want to be not expecting something, like kind of like the salary came up with the operations manager. There wasn't much talk before it happened, and then all of a sudden, bang, I'm operations manager. And it's like, holy shit. But when I know that in 4 years from now, if I keep busting my ass, I'm going to make 150 grand, it's kind of like, it kind of limits you to what you're really doing day to day. It's like, okay, so.
What do you mean by that?
Just being an ambitious person, right? And you're like, okay, so if I'm doing this for 3 more years, I'm going to make this much, and that's as good as it's going to get. So it's really like.
Does that scare you?
Sort of, yeah. Like, it's just kind of a mental fuck. Like, and it's obviously, as I said, it's a tough position for me to be in, because he's like a neighbor and he's a great guy to me, great boss. But obviously, I think it's unfair to me, especially for you, if you had a worker that had their own side gig going and working for Powerhouse, you'd kind of be like, dude, you got to pick something and kind of run with it, right? Like, it's not fair to my boss that I'm kind of splitting routes here, doing my own thing, doing his, and having the responsibility I have at the company too, right? Mm-hmm. So,
what do you want to scale more than the other one? Which one do you want to scale more?
I'm gonna have to say, like, the detailing is definitely where the money's gonna be at. And
do you think that you can make more than 200,000 detailing if you put in 5 years of hard work?
100%.
What do you say? 100%?
100%.
Why are you still working at the steam cleaning place then?
It's what I said. It's just like and I think this is what a lot of people go through when they're trying to quit their jobs. Let's say you're 25 working corporate and you want to start your own business. There's even Alex Hormozy says it, like, when he quit his job, he was living pretty good, and then all of a sudden he made that decision, and it took him, I think he said it took him like 6-7 months before he actually, executed on that decision. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's that scared point of like, do I really want to commit to this, or do I want to just get that salary? Do I want to, it's back and forth. So it's like, I know coming up, especially with next summer coming up, there's going to have to be a concrete decision made. And I do think it's going to end up with me trying to scale this to the fucking moon.
Fuck yeah, dude. And I remember too, like, when I was going to quit my job.
Yeah.
Dude, I can literally remember being in my truck, because I had to call my boss ahead of time, set up a meeting and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm setting up this meeting and I'm like, holy fuck, bro. Because
like, shit in your pants.
Yeah. Like, the story behind that is, the full story is, I'm on a call with Justin, Gio, right?
Yep.
I'm on a call with him, And he tells me on, I don't know what it was, like Friday or Saturday or something. He's like, dude, honestly, you got to quit your fucking job, you know?
Really?
And so I'm texting my boss at the time Sunday being like, yo, I need a meeting Monday. And it was very, very fast pace.
Wow.
And literally Monday, my fucking heart is beating out of my fucking chest.
Oh yeah, everyone's been there. Well,
Yeah.
especially in this position. Yeah.
Like legitimately my heart is beating out of my chest and
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I don't know if I'm making the right decision here. And I just remember like sitting in my truck and I'm like, fuck bro, God, please have my back here.
Pull the
and
fucking trigger.
Yeah, I literally walk in there, hand him the 2 weeks. I'm fucking done, bro.
The other cool story I got too that's kind of relates to this is that you got to remember when I was working for that detailing company, I was running Facebook ads that were popping up everywhere, right? And especially my boss being a detailer, he's more likely to see shit like that.
For
So I
sure.
remember when I was quitting, when I was about to, I had a close coworker there that was kind of family friends with the boss, and the coworker was telling me, it's like, hey, the boss saw your ads, eh? Like he knows what the fuck you're up to. And my boss was very stingy about showing us like the detailing business is all about the products you use, the expenses behind them, and that basically provides the quality of the service. So for a detailer, giving up your products and everything you use, there's many guys that will do it because they're using generic shit. But when you've grinded at something for 10 years and found exactly what works perfect, you're going to hide that. He used to take the labels off of all the compounds, polishes, wax. We had no idea what we were using. And I was like, hey, one day I remember in the middle of summer, I was like, hey, so what type of compound do we use? I'm just curious because I want to do my dad's personal boat. He's like, oh, we use all sorts of stuff. He didn't want to tell me. So then that kind of made me curious. So one day he told us, we were working, he's like, hey guys, got to run out, grab some supplies. So it's like 100%. So he comes back with the truck, and I knew the truck would be loaded with supplies. So I hop in I'm like, hey boss, gonna go for a break. So I go grab water in the truck, knowing that I'm gonna go in the truck and fucking find out what he's using. So I go in there, and this couple months before I started my detailing business, I go in there, grab my phone out, and he was always peering and making sure like I'm not taking too long on a break, shit like that. So I run in there and I see the big jug of wax that he uses. He gets it from Florida too. So this is not like Canadian Tire shit. I snap a photo of that. There's a couple bottles of compound and polish that I saw with the labels on them. Snap a photo of that. I'm like, fuck yeah. I sent it to my dad. I was so hyped up. I'm like, dude, I found this greatest wax that we've been using for 8 months, and I can finally fucking use it for my own business.
That's fire, dude.
And he had no idea.
Yeah, bro. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, man.
Exactly.
That's
pretty
fucking
shady,
awesome.
but fucking it worked out in my favor, right? So
Absolutely. And so when was that story from? That was last summer?
yeah, that was when I was still working that was probably in around March. As I was kind of running the ads, I knew I was starting the business, so I'm like, I need to figure out what products this guy's using, and that's when all that shenanigans happened.
Damn.
So yeah, but it's pretty fucked up now that I think about it. But at the end of the day, if you want to being a boss, you got to be a little bit more open with your
Bro,
employees.
you got to be a little
right?
bit crazy.
Yeah,
You got to be a little bit crazy. You got to take risk, And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of people lack is like you got to take that risk, whether it's quitting your job, whether it's doing the Facebook ads like you were doing.
Exactly.
But taking that first risk is probably one of the most fucking scary things you'll ever do. You probably know that
100%.
running Facebook ads, right?
Exactly.
And you're watching that shit not work for 2 weeks and you're tripping out,
$1,500 invested in this shit. And I'm like, is this going to fucking work, or am I just wasting my time? Going to be stuck with this guy for the rest of my life. And then I remember, I got a funny story actually. And so I remember that, as I said, I made $5,000 my first week detailing. So I felt rich. I actually went out and bought this watch that day because I was like, fuck it, you know what? And every time I look down at this watch, it reminds me of the story I'm about to tell. So I get home that night, it's probably 6, 7 o'clock, and I'm fucking like, you know what? I'm feeling like I want to go out and party. Text a couple guys, let's go to the bars, boys. Fucking, I'm rich. Like, let's go and spend some money. DM Delilah's bar. I'm like, hey, I've lied to them to get bottle service. So I basically said, hey, me and the boys won huge at the casino tonight. Can we get a fucking table last minute? They're like 100% because they knew we were going to spend a shitload of money, right? Based off what I texted them. So anyways, like 100%, we got a table for you, 10:30. How's that work? 100%, good. So gather up with a couple buddies. We're fucking in the basement. They're like, Holloway, you got a fucking new watch on. Like, what's going on, man? This business must be doing good. I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. Like, I only made like $5,000 this week. They're like, oh, fuck, man. Like, anyways, now I look back on this, so stupid and cocky, but we go out that night to Delilah's, and I'm feeling like the man. Fucking get in there. Slow start to the night. There's no one in there. We're like, fuck, like I really wanted to party tonight. Like I wanted to have a good time. Minutes later, fucking crowds start barreling in this place. I'm like, holy shit, let's get the party started. So we start getting bottle service, and we're getting, pretty intoxicated, right? And say the least. And fucking, I just remember, we're kind of out of it, and I'm the one that has my credit card under the fucking table because I was the one that texted them. So a couple hours go by, we're drinking bottles, and these bottles are $250, $260 a piece of vodka. Stupid, right? So anyways, we get to the end of the night. I go up to the lady. I'm like, hey, how much is their bill? In my head, I was like, if I spend $600, $600, right? Like, fucking, who cares? Gonna have a good night. End of the night, she comes up with the fucking thing. She's like, hold on, give me a second. Let me grab my billing machine. Bill comes to like $2,000. And a bottle also got stolen from the table beside us. So I had to pay like an extra like $300-$400, a large Grey Goose bottle. These other guys beside us are pissed. They're like, who's this Noah guy? Like, I'm going to kill him if he doesn't pay for it. And I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. So I'm just trying to get everything paid for. I ended up staying late that night, like till like 3, 4 o'clock, sorting everything out with the owner. And ended up walking home that night and from the bar downtown. I live in Westmount, so that's a 2-hour walk. And I get home, sleep for 3 hours. I remembered, oh shit, I got a tea time at 9 o'clock with my dad and his buddy. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. So anyways, I get up in the morning. Dad's like, oh, you don't look all right. I'm like, well, yeah, like some shit went down last night. He's like, you guys have a good night? I'm like, not really. Like, it was a little out of control. He's like, how much money did you spend? I'm like, it's about $2,000. And he's like, dude, are you crazy? Like, I've never spent more than $300 in my life at the bar. And I'm like, just got out of hand, man. And then ever since that point on, I was just I kind of went ghost mode as far as going out. Like, it's hard to get me out, and I know you're like that too. Like,
big time.
Don't fucking waste time going out and spending money on stupid shit, being around people that are fucking pointless, right?
Yeah,
and
dude.
that was a big turning point.
The attitude that I really hold, honestly, is I really try and protect my time at all costs.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's very beneficial to everybody, whether you own a business or not.
Yeah.
You got to be strategic with your time, because even right now, like when you're building a business and also working this other job,
Yeah.
it's like if you are going out on Saturday, Sunday, well, that's 2 full days. That's 48 hours that you didn't work on the business.
Exactly.
And somebody else out there is probably doing what you want to do.
Exactly. And that's what lit the fire under my ass, because I was like, dude, I'm waking up at 12 o'clock and I'm not doing shit until maybe 4 o'clock. The best I'll do in that day after I'm hungover from the bar is going to the gym for an hour, fucking going home, going back to bed. It's like, it takes a certain amount of times of doing that until you're like, this isn't sustainable. It's not fun anymore. I actually started, even after that point, I went out a few times here and there, and I started getting really anxious before going out to the bar. I was like, because I knew it was just trouble for me. And I bet you felt that feeling, like you're surrounding, it's not even the point of just going to the bar. It's like who you're surrounding yourself with too when you're there.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't really want to say what's up to this guy. Like he's just here for whatever, right? Like I'm not really wanting to go out there and fucking shake a bunch of hands and say what's up to people that, I don't really give a fuck about. Not to be rude, but, that's just kind of what has came to my realization recently, is that I have no business in that right now.
Absolutely, dude.
So,
and that's the other thing, too, that, like, I got to keep in mind, especially for myself,
Yeah.
right? Like, going out to the bar with certain people and stuff, to me, that's just death by association, right? Now you're going to be associated with those people in that scene. And I don't want to be associated with it, right? Like, I want to be associated with success and grinding and hustling and all that stuff, right? So I got to do more of this.
Yeah.
Right? I can't be out here being seen at the bars. I can't be out here being seen in stupid places with stupid people, right? Because people will just simply take you less serious, right?
Yeah. Like, did you have that turning point, kind of like I did, where you were maybe going out enjoying yourself a little bit too much, and then you're like, holy shit, like did you ever have that point where you got to it and you're like, I need to just hustle now?
Honestly, dude, I would say when I was in the Army, we were partying hard as fuck.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We would party like Thursday, Friday,
surprising.
Saturday, Sunday.
Fuck.
And we would get up. Like, that was the hardest I probably ever worked physically, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but on top of that, we were drinking 4 days a week, getting fucking destroyed in bars and stuff like that.
Wow.
So when I came back, I was still kind of on that wave a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? For the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I kind of lived like a pretty fucking mediocre life right up until COVID. And then COVID for me was where I just put my head in the sand and I was like, dude, fuck it. I'm just going to fucking do everything that I can to fucking win.
Exactly.
And so I would say the turning point for me was actually just not being allowed to do anything, you know? And then finally I started to realize, okay, I got a life to build.
Yeah.
I don't want to be stuck pulling fucking wire the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Right? Which is where my destiny would have gone if I never made the decision.
You were apprenticeship for like an electrical company, right?
I was, dude, yeah. So it was like, fuck, man, like, what do I want to do? Do I want to spend my time and go to the bars? Because I'm sure you saw it in your friends too, but the second that COVID was over,
Yeah.
it was like everyone wants to go do anything.
Yeah, 100%.
Like Wednesday night, they're down.
Yeah.
Thursday night, down. Friday, down, you know? And so I had to restrict myself from going there because I knew that I was fucking made for better than that.
Exactly.
You know?
Did you have that deep down feeling from an early age that you were kind of designed for more than
I was fucking made to be great. I didn't even know what it was. Like, I'm 100% certain of that.
Yeah.
Like, since I was young, I knew that I was going to be something crazy. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know the vessel that it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I knew from probably the time that, probably in the Army, honestly, the Army taught me a lot about myself.
Yeah.
Taught me a lot about my limits, how far I can push myself, how mentally tough I was. And at that point, I was like, holy fuck, like, I'm legitimately fucking different, you know? Like, I can push myself past what I ever thought was even possible.
Let me ask you this question, because this was a big one for me during COVID. I was seeing a bunch of TikToks, and I'm sure the viewers can relate to this shit too. You see a bunch of TikToks of these 15, 16-year-old kids driving Lamborghinis around, posting TikToks how they're in Miami in their penthouse.
That's fucking classic.
100%. And so you see this shit, and it starts to make you wonder and try different things. Like, I don't know about you. I've been down the drop shipping route. That was literally a year ago I was trying that shit. And then I quickly realized, I'm like, okay, this is not sustainable.
Bro, I tried everything.
Like, did you have that point where you got so messed up and seeing all this stuff and all these ideas coming through your head, how am I going to be successful, that it messed you up to the point where, like how did you decide that I'm going to pick this and do this only? Because I feel like a lot of kids out there, and I was that kid, that there was all these ideas and they're still coming through my head. There's almost distractions of like, oh my God, can I go and make a ton of money doing this? Should I do this? Should I get into real estate? Should I start a legit business? Should I go and do what these Miami influencers are doing? Like, how did you kind of get through all that shit and just focus and find Powerhouse?
Realistically, I tried fucking everything, dude. I tried drop shifting, Forex, stocks, trading, everything. My first company was actually a t-shirt brand.
Oh, wow.
The very first company.
Or something like
exactly,
that?
right? It's called Lift Kings.
Yep.
And so at that point, I was trying fucking everything just because I did not want to do what I was doing. But now what I come to realize is that humans are actually built to take the path of least resistance, right? That's what we're built to do.
Yep.
And so when you see all these influencers coming up and you see, oh my God, like this guy got rich overnight in drop shifting, this guy hit big on a stock or like a fucking crypto coin.
Yeah.
That right there is the get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
Where I knew after I tried everything that was not going to happen. And the turning point for me in that was actually listening to Andy Frisella. You know Andy Frisella?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
So Andy Frisella had a podcast, okay? His old series is called the MFCEO Project.
Yeah.
I was listening to this podcast, and he flat out said, and this was after, it was almost perfect timing. Yeah. This was after I tried fucking so many different things, trying to fucking get rich, trying to get out of the matrix.
Yeah.
And he literally said, he's like, there is no get rich quick. It doesn't exist. The only way to build long-lasting wealth is building real businesses with real people.
Yeah.
And as soon as he said that, I was like, fuck.
Getting the fuck out of this shit.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I got to start something legit. And so I really took the path that I knew, right? It was just, I knew construction. I was an electrician.
Yeah.
I was asking constant questions. Obviously, I was doing work on the weekends, nights while I was working that job.
Yeah.
And so for me, I would say listening to that podcast and having tried everything that I thought would be get rich quick and it just didn't work. That is when I realized that, okay, I got to build something real here because I need it to last.
Exactly.
You know, like there's not always going to be a crypto coin that you can throw $100 in and fucking 20x it.
And a lot of these guys too, if you think about it, like where are these guys going to be in 10 years with the drop shipping? Or they're going to have to be constantly adapting to new to new different things, and it's all based on trends and shit like that too, right? So it's actually ends up being harder, I feel like, for those type of guys that pick that route than a guy like you that's picked construction and is just gonna go balls deep and then fucking grind, right? Than trying to flip flop and adapt to this and make money in this, you know what I mean? So
100%.
that's definitely a smart move to just decide on early on than trying to go down all those paths.
100%, dude. And that's when, especially during COVID, that's when I was trying a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Because it was like I really didn't have anything else to do. I was trying to learn a shitload of stuff. I actually still have notes for when I was Forex trading.
Oh, wow.
Still have notes. I still have like different graphs and patterns and all this shit of when I was just trying to do anything to fucking get out of that race.
So when you were starting these businesses, were you putting in like 12 hours a day doing these things, or were you kind of half in, half out of it? Like, what type of person are you? Are you the guy that, okay, so when you were doing Forex trading, were you doing 10, 12-hour days, or were you just kind of like fucking, so you were grinding?
Grinding. Wow. Oh, yeah, dude. Like, it was to the point where, because I was working my electrical job all the way through COVID.
Yeah.
So I was literally, like, as soon as I would get home, I would fucking grind Forex.
Yeah.
As soon as I get home, 4:30, 5 o'clock, right? Sometimes a bit later. I would hit a workout in my basement because the gyms were fucking closed. And then I would literally just grind Forex, watch YouTube videos, take notes, and I would just grind it. And that's just what I did, man. That was one thing where I would definitely say I'm the type of guy that once I get my head wrapped around something, like I'm going to be all in.
I feel like too, there's a lot of people, and you can probably agree on this, that have the personality of all in or all out of something. And I feel like it helps with business owners because it's like, if you do pick that one route, you're going to go do everything it takes to win. But then there's also people that kind of flip-flop between things, and that can be a little bit of a sketchy route. But I would definitely say I'm that type of person too, where it's like if I commit myself to something, I mean, there's been things that I've kind of flip-flopped on, don't get me wrong, but let's say if I say to myself in 6 months from now, I'm going to go into this detailing business and not look back, then that's what I'm going to do. So, but it definitely takes time to realize, you know, where your skills are at and if that's necessarily you or not, right?
What about you? Like, did you always think, or did you always know that you were made for something better than just working somewhere?
Obviously, like, I'm not ultra successful right now. Like, I'm nowhere near to where I want to be. But yeah, I always had that feeling.
One thing I want to say just on that point is like, I actually respect you a lot. And the reason is not necessarily because of how much money you have or what you've built or anything like that, but you're giving the inputs. And that's what matters right now.
Appreciate it.
Right now, it's are you willing to put in the time? Are you willing to put in the effort to make shit happen?
Yeah.
Because the way that I look at it is that like the success is just a lagging indicator of what you decide to do with your time.
Yeah.
Like the money's going to come, the business is going to come, right? The whatever fame is going to come.
Yeah.
But you're actually putting in the inputs and you're grinding as much as you fucking can right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that is at the end of the day what matters the most. If you're willing to give everything to something, I can respect that 100%.
Yeah, and the other thing too that I found that's helped me out is trying to put yourself out there. Like obviously this podcast, I've never done anything that someone's interviewing me and I'm talking about myself for an hour and a half, but I feel like if you can put yourself in these type of positions where you're uncomfortable and you can get through that shit and get on the other side of it and then look back, like I bet after this podcast you can go, I'm so glad I did this and met with Tyler, right? Because it can lead to other opportunities. Just like I haven't talked to Connor in, I don't know, probably since 2-3 years at least. And then I told Hodge, I said, I want to talk to this guy. He's crushing it. I want to get inside his head and then I need to talk to him. So like for people that maybe could be grinding all the time, just work, I feel like there's a time where you got to be like, I got to meet this dude. I got to talk to this guy. And then there's also times where you just got to be like, there's no need for this shit right now, you know?
Absolutely, dude.
Relate to that.
No, I think that's facts for sure because you got to know, you know what, you honestly just got to be aware. You got to be aware of the fact of, okay, when is it time to go out and network? Because there's a lot of people that I know as well that are like networking per se.
Yeah.
But they're just going out and they're just talking to people. There's no intent behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you got to know when it's right to go out and to actually go meet those people, but when it's right to also get in your little hermit shell and just grind. You know, put your head down and get the work done.
Two completely different things for sure.
100%. And at the end of the day, it's like the action is what's going to get you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
Nothing else. right? Like you could watch all the videos, listen to all the books, meet all the right people.
Yeah.
But if you don't decide to actually put that knowledge to action,
Yeah.
then don't expect anything to change.
Like I could imagine like, going out and meeting people, it could definitely be fun, but it's got to be productive. Like me, Connor, and Matt, like I had the best conversation I probably had in years, just within 3 hours. And it's like we didn't go there to talk about what girls we want to start talking to or whatnot. Like we went there and talked about strictly where we want to be and what shit I need to do, they need to do to be able to get there. And I think stuff like that, like even though we spent $70 on dinner and he wasn't working, I wasn't working on the business directly, that 4 hour talk, even for him that's established himself so far, is beneficial to all parties, right?
For sure.
So it's definitely, there's definitely time and a place for that shit. And you've probably experienced too with networking. Like you've probably wasted a lot of time. You've probably met people that you're like, holy shit, if I didn't meet that guy, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, it definitely goes both ways, right? Like I always say too, never miss an opportunity without a good fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like if you're not like grinding that night in the office and you got to get shit done and you have the opportunity to go out and meet this new guy or talk to this guy, like you never know what opportunity or future opportunity that could bring.
Exactly.
So you always want to go out and meet those people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you also got to have the self-awareness to know, okay, now is my time just to do the shit.
Yeah.
I don't need to do anything else other than just put the action behind what I know and what I've learned and just get out there and get after it.
Especially when you're at the point too where you know nothing. Like me, even, I don't know a ton about business. I'm still trying to learn. So at that starting stage, I feel like it is important that you go out and meet these type of guys like you
100%.
or Connor or Matt that have direct experience, working with absolute beasts, right? Like you need to be around these type of people, especially when you're starting, because you can only soak so much in watching YouTube videos for 6 hours a night, right? Like until you're actually sitting at a table like I am right now and discussing real shit, like you might not really be getting as far as you really think you are, right?
100%. And that's something too where, like even for you, right? Right now, coming on the podcast, it's literally your first time, like you said, actually like sitting down at a table with mics in your face and talking.
Exactly.
But opportunities like this just give you the ability to at least open up the floor, ask questions, learn about maybe how I think.
Exactly.
I can learn about how you think, right? And we can find the similarities and the differences within that.
Exactly. And I think it goes a long way just, building good bridges. And the other thing too that I look back on and I kind of wish I was better at is like, I can imagine if I was in high school and I was an absolute asshole to Connor for 4 years, right? And then I go and text him, hey, Connor, I see you're doing so good, man. Like, let's meet up for dinner. He'd be like, no, dude, fuck off. Like, one thing I've learned over the past couple of years is try and be nice to everybody. No matter what position they're in. You never know 4 years later, just like what happened to me, you might be sitting across the table with them and talking. If he remembers you as an asshole, highly unlikely that he's going to share some of his fucking knowledge with you, right?
For sure, dude. That's a very important point too, is right. You got to treat everybody with respect.
Exactly.
And that's the other thing too, man, where I look at what I went through and I can self-reflect on what I had to do and where I was and what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I look at like even just like fucking random people on the street and be like, dude, that guy in 4 years, 5 years could be a millionaire. And I don't even know.
So never knock anyone for the position they're in currently. Honestly, even homeless people, there's anyone out there that could turn into an animal overnight. Like if you met me last year at this same time, you'd probably be like, this guy's head's in a whole nother world. Like just in about a year, and me and Connor spoke about this, about a year, like it's crazy how much can actually change mentally. And I bet you've been through the same thing with the mental changes that you start maturing. We're still young people. I'm 20 years old. You're 24, right?
Yeah.
So still developing, still learning, still.
So how did your mindset change from a year ago today?
I think honestly after that bar disaster, that just really messed me up for a while. I was thinking about that money for a long time. Like imagine what you could do with $2,000. As far as now that I kind of in this space a little more, I could have spent that on a course to learn something. I could have paid someone to sit down with them and learn shit.
I think also though, like that, like I think you almost did pay for a course because that's what sent you on the trajectory, right?
That is 100%.
And if you didn't spend that money, you might not be where you are today.
True.
You know what I mean? So maybe you could have spent that on a course, you could have spent that on a coach or whatever. But at the same time, losing that money in such a silly way is probably something, like you said, was just a turning point in your life,
Yep.
which really made you be like, holy fuck, I got to change something here.
Exactly. And it all started with who I was hanging out with. And, you know, that was basically a big factor in what I was doing. And as I've heard you say in your videos on Instagram and shit, like, you got to surround yourself with people that you want to be like, right? So we can't be hanging around with guys that want to go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every single weekend. Like, you got to put yourself around, you know, animals, right? And that's going to get you to the places you want to be. And now the other thing too I wanted to ask you is, there's a lot of kids too that are trying to make like a work-life balance. And with you being an all-in type of guy, do you believe in taking time off, especially running a business, trying to scale to the moon?
No.
Do you ever take a look and go, shit, maybe when I'm 35, I'm going to look back and go, God, I wish when I was 24, I chilled out a little bit and enjoyed myself. How do you think about that? Because there's a lot of back and forth that people talk about with this shit.
Yeah, my opinion on that is that my life just keeps getting fucking better every year.
Okay.
So why would I change if my life just keeps getting fucking more better?
Why would you fuck that up?
Exactly, right? And
Yeah.
so you're very right, though. I could look back at 35 and be like, man, you know what I mean? I really wish I don't know, chilled out in my fucking 20s, but I doubt that's going to happen. And for me, like, work-life balance, I don't think that shit exists.
No.
I truly, truly, truly believe to my core that that is some bullshit that someone made up to make themselves feel better about why they weren't doing what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it, you know? And so for me, I've said this before too, but I'm going to say it right here again.
Yeah.
I view work-life balance per se on a whole lifetime scale.
Okay.
Not necessarily a week or a month or a year,
I see.
but on my lifetime. So God willing, I live till 80, let's say.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to spend the time that I was 19 to the time I'm 35.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work every single day around the clock, no matter what. And then at 35 to fucking 80,
Yeah.
I get to do whatever the fuck I want with whoever I want at any time of the day.
Just a completely different perspective of time.
100%, dude. And I really do believe that. And there's some people, man, that do it. Like, there's some people, I know, like, if you talk to Connor, like, he makes time for other things and he still gets his shit done, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I believe in something called, like, full immersion.
Okay.
And to me, what that means is full immersion. You ever been in, like, this is a perfect way to describe it. You know when you get into a pool that's not heated and it's kind of fucking cold?
Yeah.
When you get in the pool, you're fucking freezing, you know?
100%.
So if you get in the pool, realize it's cold, and then get out of the pool, and then you get back in the pool, it's fucking cold, and then you get out of the pool,
Yeah.
then it's going to be cold every time, and it's going to suck every time.
Exactly.
But if you just jump in the pool, bear the pain for a little bit,
Yep.
then that water now becomes normal to you, and you no longer think that it's cold. It's just day-to-day life.
It's not pain.
Exactly. It's not pain. It's just normal shit. And so that's how I view work-life balance, and that's how I view work.
Yeah.
Anything that I'm going to do, I'm going to put every fucking ounce of time, money, effort into that because I want to make sure it's done 100%, you know? And I have it written up on my board.
Yeah.
I have a quote, and it says, effort will never be a reason for a loss or a lesson. Meaning that no matter what happens, no matter what lesson I have to learn the hard way, I will never lose or learn from a lack of effort.
Okay.
And so if I want to decide to live like that, I have to be here every day. I have to give it my all every day, all the time.
Yeah.
You know? And also from a business owner's perspective, you took on that fucking responsibility. Right?
Exactly.
And now, like, here at my company, I'm very, very, very fortunate that we have lots and lots of guys that believe in the vision. They want to build this motherfucking business with me, which I fucking love.
Yeah.
And so there's guys working just as much as me. But a lot of people know this, for the last 2 years, 3 years, it was just me.
Exactly.
It was just me. Like, I was working how I work now for the last 3 fucking years.
Wow.
You know? And so that's the work that people don't see. When I was in this office by myself every fucking night, grinding, no one around, me, a podcast, me, or music, and you're just in your own head and you got to get shit done. And I decided to take on that responsibility as a leader.
Yeah.
Because, dude, everyone thinks that being a leader is so cool. Everyone thinks being a leader and being a boss is the fucking
The
shit.
idea is awesome, yeah.
The idea of it is awesome. Dude, it looks sick as fuck on paper.
I'm a boss.
Exactly, right? It looks sick as fuck on paper.
Yeah.
And then once you actually hop into it and shit hits the fan 3, 4, 5 times and you got to make a decision that could potentially alter 20 lives,
Yeah.
people that you care about,
It's a little fucking stressful.
it's a little stressful,
Yeah.
you know? And on top of that, you got to put in the most time, you got to put in the most effort.
Yeah.
And that's what a good leader does. You know, like I never want to become the leader that is out on the golf course at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, because I know my team's going to be grinding. And so I don't want to let them grind in the trenches by themselves, you know? So to answer your question directly, I do not believe in the normal work-life balance.
Yeah.
I just look at it a little bit differently. I look at it on the terms of my entire life.
Yeah.
I'm going to have more total time, God willing, to do what the fuck I want when I want to do it. And it's going to be a better quality of life because I'll have more money.
Yep.
I'll have better access to people, right? I'll have better access to fucking cars, houses,
exactly.
fucking everything,
The
right?
cool shit, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's I feel like everybody too wants that. And it's like ask anybody, like, do you want a Rolex watch? 100%. I'd love to have one. Do you want a nice beautiful house one day? 100%. But I feel like that vision, as soon as someone finds out that, okay, it takes X amount of work to get that, product, it's just like, oh, I'm going to back off. I'm going to back off. And that's one thing I had to realize. And I had to realize it within the last month or so. And I was like, dude, if I don't do this now, like, I'm going to be 30 years old going, holy shit, like, what happened the last 10 years? Because I don't know about you, but as I'm starting to get older, time is flying by.
Flying by.
Like, I'm like, it's Friday night. I wake up. It feels like 2 hours has gone by. It's Monday. And I'm like, when I was a kid, it's like time's going so slow. It's like, I'm going to relax, and you start with that mentality, you start pushing the stuff you need to do aside. And then I feel like that's what happens to a lot of people. They push it aside for so long and then it's too late.
Exactly.
It's too late to do anything.
But now is also time, like, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like you really have anything to lose? Anything major to lose right now? Realistically.
As far as starting my own business and
Yeah.
pursuing my dreams, realistically, like, there's nothing really at stake besides the comfort of my salaried job that I have right now and knowing that I have consistent paycheck. But
Do you feel like if your life was on the line, you could find another salary job?
it's tough because most kids at 20 are on a salary, like, if I'm being honest, like, but to make that sort of money, I feel like if my life was on the line, I could make the money I'm making right now. So to answer your question, yes, I do think it is
So
possible.
then you have nothing to lose.
And there we go.
You have nothing to lose. And now's the time, too, when you're this young to be able to go out and make those fucking crazy decisions,
Yeah.
dude. Because I know you talk to most of my guys, like, they know I'm pretty fucking crazy.
100%.
I do crazy shit, you know? But at the same time, you have to be crazy, right? Because not a lot of people want to be that crazy fucking dude.
Yeah.
But at the same time, someone's got to do it. You know, that's always been my mentality is like, someone's got to sacrifice. Someone's got to go through the pain. Somebody has to fucking just feel that shit every day, And it's like, if I can just take the bear,
Yeah.
then you're going to reap the benefits in the end. But at the same time, I would rather deal with that pain because I have self-belief that I can handle it,
Exactly.
And so when you have such self-belief, it becomes a superpower. And what I mean by that directly is I can now make decisions based off just knowing because I'm a fucking animal and I know I'm going to get myself out of a situation.
Exactly.
And that's something that took me 4 years to build. Legit. Like, it took me 4 years. This is year 4 of figuring shit out. So it took me 4 years to build that self-confidence
Wow.
of knowing that no matter what happens to me in my life, if I went to zero tomorrow,
Yeah.
I would build $1 million business in 6 months.
Wow.
And because of that belief, it allows you to be more ballsy. It allows you to take those risks. It allows you to, hire somebody that is going to be fucking gangster, but maybe you can't afford them.
Yeah.
Or take take that risk when it comes to like putting in an extra fucking 5K a month into something.
Yeah.
It allows you to take those risks because of the self-belief.
100%.
Right? Like, to me personally, I'm not really a big fucking data analyst, fucking look at the numbers and figure it out and down to the fucking penny. Right? Like, that's not me. I make decisions, strictly off of my gut and strictly off of I'm just gonna fucking win. You know, like that's legitimately my mentality. I do whatever it takes. I don't care.
Now, if you could give your 20-year-old self a piece of advice, because I'm 20, right? So you got 4 years on me. What would you say to, let's just say, what would you say to any 20-year-old, really? 4 years.
That's a hard question.
Learned a lot of shit. What would you say?
I would say there's nothing to be scared of. What's more scary than quitting your job is looking back when you're 80 years old and realizing that you didn't. That's more scary to me.
Yeah.
You know? And looking back on it, I wish I quit my job at fucking 15.
And just started pursuing.
Exactly, right? And so, yeah, I guess if you're fucking a 20-year-old or you even, like, dude, it's now is the time, right now.
Not a better time to start doing shit.
If you're 20 years old, you're out of high school, any 20-year-old does not have shit to lose, honestly. You know, unless, like, even if you do have, like, rent to pay for or a car to pay for or whatever, like, that's not that fucking bad. Like, as long as you have somewhere at the end of the day that you can go and fucking sleep and you can get access to food somehow, you're not going to die.
No,
you know, you're not going to die. So you may as well go and take the risk because there's no better time than fucking right now.
Like, for me, too, it's like with the detailing, too, and wanting to scale this, I have this, like, let's say 80% of me is like, I'm going to fucking do this and it's going to turn out really well for me. And there's 20% too that I'm like, is this really scalable? Like, did you ever go through that same feeling of like, or do you still go through that feeling of like, is this going to make it to where I actually want to be? Is this the avenue I should have taken? Like, do you ever feel that? Because I feel like that's what I'm going through as a 20-year-old, especially seeing all that shit online too. It's like, am I really taking the right avenue when I'm out? It's 30 degrees out, dripping sweat, polishing boats, and you're seeing all this online business stuff coming up, and it's like, dude, like, I could just be on a computer right now. Like, what was your thought process back then?
Well, I would say, like, do you know of a detailing business that's like a 7-figure business, maybe multiple locations?
Maybe down south, but not like local.
But do you think that there is one somewhere?
100%, yeah. I do believe that there are 7-figure detailing businesses for sure.
And do you believe that, like, anything that someone else can do, you can do?
100%, yeah.
Then you can do it. And that was the same mindset I had. Is there such thing as a $1 billion construction company? Yes. Okay, I bleed the same blood as this guy. Well, this guy better watch his fucking throat because I'm coming for it.
You're coming for him.
That's it, man. Like, because there's no... I actually, honestly, right now, I believe, and this might sound a little cocky, I believe that if you were to put me up against any fucking big dog in the city construction company, and you brought him back to the same level as me, or you pushed me forward to the same level, if we were playing on the same field, I would fucking kill him.
Wow.
Easily. I have a better team.
Yep.
I have a better mindset. I'm in better shape. You know what I mean? I fucking work harder.
Yeah.
I can outlast you. And so when you have such belief, and dude, like I said, this took me 4 years to get to this belief system and this mindset that I'm in now. Okay? But starting out on that, you have to know that if another fucking man has built what you want to build, you can build it.
No excuses.
There's no excuses because it's already been done. It's already been done, right?
There's proof,
exactly. There's proof that it's been done. Now, the other thing too is that I guarantee you somewhere, probably on YouTube, there's somebody, I think you actually said there was somebody who was showing you how to scale a detailing business.
Yeah.
Now, vet that guy, figure out if he actually has a business. If he has a business and it is a 7-figure business, maybe multiple locations, and he has a course, or even if he doesn't have a course, reach out to that guy and say, hey man, have you ever thought about doing a mentorship program or something like that? Because that is so fucking powerful, is to find somebody who has already done what you want to do and learn everything that you can about them.
Exactly, yeah.
You know? But at the same time, it also comes down to, do you believe in yourself that you can do it? Right? And I find that how I gained my self-confidence through the years is simply just by proof. Right?
Sticking to the things you say you're going to do.
Exactly. It's honestly, it comes down to the small things. Right? Do you say that you're going to make your bed every morning and you don't? Do you say that you're going to, wash your own truck on Saturday and you don't?
Yeah.
Because all those micro lies to yourself are going to add up, and it's going to cause a blockage in your brain so that when you have these decisions, you're going to second guess it.
Oh, I see.
And all those small things are the things that typically kill people.
Because you have no personal proof that you can even do small shit.
Exactly. Like I always say to people, like when I have guys come up to me and say, hey, you know what I mean? Like, how do I start to fucking develop this?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever gone to the gym for 30 days in a row? No break?
Probably not, to be honest with you.
Start with that. That's something where if you know that you can go 30 days in a row.
Yeah.
And I know too, like there's fucking people that are like, oh my God, you don't take a fucking rest day,
Yeah,
and that, right? But at the same time, at that stage, it's fucking, it's mental toughness, you know? And when you're willing to go through the mentally tough shit,
Yeah.
that is the stuff that's going to prove to you that you can do bigger shit. And so how I did it was 75 hard.
Okay.
That's really what helped me with my mindset.
Because how many times have you done that? Like
4 times.
Wow.
4 times.
So no distractions, like no alcohol.
Yeah, so it's indoor workout,
Yeah.
outdoor workout, both 45 minutes each. And then it's eat on a diet plan,
Okay.
take a progress photo, read 10 pages of a book, no alcohol or cheat meals
Wow.
for 75 days.
That will definitely straighten you out for sure.
100%, dude. And when you do that, like if you talk to anybody that's done it,
Yeah.
dude, you feel fucking literally bulletproof.
Wow.
Like you feel impenetrable. It is fucking crazy, man. And so after I did that, actually the first time I did it for 153 days in a row.
Holy shit. So you just kept going.
I just kept going. And so when I was able to do that, that's really what really proved to me originally that, hey, I'm actually a mentally tough fucking guy.
Yeah.
So I know I can utilize this in a different area. You know? Like if you can stick with the gym or stick with something like 75 hard, then you're a dedicated motherfucker because you can push yourself through the times that you don't want to push yourself through.
Exactly.
And that's what it's all about. It's not about how much work you get done on your good days. It's about how much work you get done on your bad days because that will show you your limits.
Yeah, and I feel like too with that is like there's a big misconception about you got to love what you do. Like you got to find something that you love to do. And even like my own parents say that to me. And it's like I feel like as long as 60% of the days I do decently like, and maybe 40% of the days I'm like, fuck this, I want to go home. I don't want to be doing this shit right now. I think that's still the key. Like, not everyone loves absolutely every minute of what you do. I'm sure you wake up, get out of bed, and you're like, oh my God. Like,
100%.
I'd love to stick around in my bed for 6 hours
100%.
and do fuck all today, but you got shit to do. And if you're not fucking there, then who's going to be there, right?
And the other thing is too is like now that this is also the cool thing about scaling, I think.
Yeah.
Is that now that I have a decent sized team, they also hold me accountable as a leader. You know? Because it's like, okay, everyone's here. I'm not saying everyone's here because of me, but what I am saying is that they're here for the culture that I have started and they have also built. Do you know what I mean? So when we're talking like that, that keeps me accountable because I know that these guys are counting on me to be me. Right? I am this guy. I decide to do fucking crazy shit. And so as a leader, if I need to wake up and not fucking like, dude, just the last week, I think it was.
Yeah.
I was up till, so I got up fucking, I don't even know what it was, dude. Like fucking Wednesday, I got up from my house, was in the office for like 8, 9 a.m. Okay. And then from 9 a.m. until 4 a.m. the next morning, I'm working.
Wow.
Okay. And then from 4 a.m., or sorry, it was actually 6 a.m. It was actually 6 a.m.
shit.
because I was working till 6 a.m. I sleep for 2 hours and I got a meeting in this room at 8 a.m. And I get up and I lead the meeting and I just carry on with my day and I don't go to bed until 2 a.m. the next day.
So are you just pumping like what's like even me if I let's say I work a 12-hour day and I decide okay, I'm going to do some online work with my detailing business. And it gets to maybe 12 o'clock at night. I'm like my eyes are getting, even Nova mentioned this. She's like, she gets used to it working this late and working this long. But are you still feeling like shit, like behind the computer? I know that heavy eye feeling, and you're like, dude, like I'm zoning out. Like, there's no point in me even doing work right now. Do you ever get to that point, or are you used to it? Like, what happens once you hit that kind of point of working so much?
Yeah, no, I definitely sometimes will hit a point where I'm like, holy fuck, like I'm actually exhausted.
Yeah.
You know? But on top of that too, I find that I guess here's a better way to put it. I do the fun shit at night.
Yeah.
I do the fun shit at
Save
night
it for later.
because the fun shit is going to be the stuff that I know that I can just push through, you know? Like if I'm trying to like job cost a job at fucking 4 a.m., that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know? But if I'm like editing a podcast or I'm trying to make some clips for Instagram or I'm, you know what I mean, planning out like my next year for the business, that to me is all fun stuff, all creativity shit.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff that I like to do at night because it's going to be a little bit easier on the brain versus throughout the day. That's where I'm doing like the problem solving, the really intense like mind exercises that business takes. And so that's kind of how I've split up my days recently to be able to work like that.
Yeah.
Now, there's no fucking way I'd be able to sit here and job cost jobs for fucking 21 hours.
Like that's crazy.
Crazy,
Yeah.
right? I would not be able to do that. But I mean, I'm sure I could if I had to, but it's not something that I want to do. So I always try and save like the fun shit for a little bit later because I know that's going to be the stuff that I can push through.
Yeah.
At the same time, when I was starting my business, I didn't have a fucking choice. That's the other half of it. Is like you just don't simply have a choice. Like how badly do you want the Rolex?
Exactly.
How badly do you want that Lambo? And you got to ask yourself those questions. You got to be honest with yourself, right? Because everybody's got a different pain tolerance. Everybody is willing to handle a certain amount of pain.
Yeah.
And you got to know where your limits lie. So if you are working a full-time job and then you realize, holy shit, you know, like I got to go to 2 estimates. I also got to finish this bathroom and I got to invoice people. And then on top of that, I got to book this guy in for this week. Wow. And it's like a fucking Wednesday night. And somehow I've got to hit the gym. Right.
That's crazy.
And so, yeah, like you just don't have a choice. Like, dude, there was countless times. I don't know why. Like I was fucked up because I was doing 75 hard at the time too.
You're just fucking yourself completely.
I'm fucked, dude. I'm sleeping like 3 hours a night.
Holy
75 hard, 9 to 5, working on the business. And so at that point, like honestly, my typical day was like I was up at 5, do my ruck in the morning, get to work for 7 to 5. I'm working at my full-time job at the time.
Wow.
And then from 5 until 1, right? I'm working on the business. And then I got to get my other workout in and fucking read a book. Dude, the amount of times that I was reading in my bed and I'm like fucking like my eyes are basically closed, bro. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I'm like trying to stay awake so hard. You know, like that was often, man. And I just simply kept telling myself, bro, no one else is willing to do it.
Exactly.
I'm the only motherfucker out here, dude. And it's such a good feeling when you know that no one else is willing to do it, dude. No one else is willing to do it, so I'm going to fucking do it.
You're going to get it done.
And that is the confidence, like that is the shit that will build the confidence. Is that when you can say when you're in the gym and you're the only motherfucker in the gym at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You're like, you look around and you say, okay.
It's motivating for sure.
All right, you know, I'm that fucking guy,
Yeah.
You know? And so that's the stuff that is going to build your confidence. A lot of people think that confidence is built by like the simple shit, you know? But what it really is those moments when you notice that you're the only fucking guy there and you're the only motherfucker putting in the work. When those moments come, dude, those hit hard. Those hit really hard.
Yeah. Well, and especially too, I was talking to Matt about you and I'm like, me meeting Tyler was a fucking 100% a great thing. And it was also a mental complete fuck because every time I catch myself in bed, let's say it's 11 o'clock at night, I've worked all day, I'm tired, right? And I'm in my bed scrolling on my phone. I think of what you said to me and for the backstory for people that don't know, me and Matt went to the gym one night, and that's when I was getting blown up by Powerhouse ads on Instagram. I'm like, dude, like this Tyler guy, like Matt's telling me how hard this guy's working. Like he's working 15, 16 hours a day. And I'm like, okay, so this is the type of guy that I'd probably want to be in the next 4 years. Like this is what the shit I need to do to be where I need to go. Right. So I was like, fucking Matt, hook me up with this guy. Give him a call. Like I'm curious. So we hit the gym. It's about maybe 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I want to know what Tyler's doing at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. Like, what could a business owner be doing? And I thought in my head, honestly, you're going to be like, oh, I'm just maybe watching a podcast or something. Fucking, he's like hesitant to call you. He's like, and I wonder why. I was just like, I don't know. I don't want to bug him. And now knowing you and how fucking busy you are, like, wouldn't want to bug you either. So anyways, he ends up calling you. Hey, Matt, what's going on? Matt's like, hey, I'm just with my buddy. And right away, you're like, Matt, do you like this guy? You're like, because you don't want to waste your fucking time dealing with some
100%,
dumbasses,
dude.
right? Like,
100%.
Matt, do you like this guy? And I'm in the driver's seat. I was driving, and I'm like, oh fuck, this guy's not as fucking chill as I thought it was. Not gonna be like, hey, what's going on, man? So, anyways, conversation goes on, and you're like, yeah, I just got back from a sales meeting. I'm going back to the office. It's 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Most people are winding down, watching Netflix, fucking eating popcorn, whatever. And you're going back to the office. I got a bunch of shit to get done tonight. And I'm thinking in my head, holy shit, like I've never met some dude like this. I need to get inside this guy's brain. Anyways, a couple minutes later go by, you said this one thing, you're like, if you're not working, what the fuck are you doing? And from that point on, every time I catch myself, as I said, doing nothing, you fucking haunt me. Like you were
That's
as
fucking
weird,
fire.
as weird as it is, you were in the back of my head every fucking day, I'd say, honestly. And I got a lot of respect for you just based off of what I've seen, and I don't know you. I haven't known you for that long, but fucking it's unbelievable, right? And this is the type of people, obviously, I need to surround myself with because I want to be like you one day, right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully in 4 years from now, I can pull the 16-hour, 18-hour, 20-hour, staying up all night working on the business. I find that it's almost entertaining to know that there are people out there that can fucking do that, right? And not only
dude.
you and the whole fucking team, right? Like, so it's absolutely insane. So
no, I appreciate, yeah, dude, absolutely, bro. I appreciate what you said there. That's fucking fire, dude. I love that. And to be honest with you, man, that's why I do the shit that I do.
Yeah,
is to get like reactions and guys like you to be like, dude, what you say, I actually took in.
Yeah,
right. And I've always said that. It's like I want to help as many people as I can along this journey.
Yeah,
because I think that's a very noble thing to do. Right, is not only to build wealth for yourself, but for everybody around you and everybody that wants to build wealth for themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think. That's fucking fire, dude. Because I say that all the time, right? Yeah. Like, if you're not working or training, like, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you really doing? You're not doing fuck all, right?
No, you're not doing fucking anything.
And that was the other thing too. I was just like, dude, I need to fucking wake up. Like that was another wake up call, and that was only a month ago. I feel like even within the last month, from just meeting you and we sat down in the office, and you were talking and on your computer at the same time. You're like, I'm trying to get this fucking podcast rolling and shit like that. And I'm like, dude, there's people out there that got shit to do. They are not wasting their fucking time hanging out with their buddies on Sunday night watching football. Like, there is real shit that needs to get done, right? So,
and honestly, dude, like in the last 3 months, like if you don't work for this company, I'm not fucking hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And that's legitimately like I just wanted to. For me, this is a season of action. Mm-hmm. And so last year I traveled a fucking shitload. We were in Arizona 4 or 5 times, fucking San Diego, Vegas, all these different places. So this year it was just like, okay, it's time for some fucking real action. I learned a lot last year, huge self-development year for myself as well. Really got to see a lot of cool people, meet a lot of cool people, great experiences, right, with networking and stuff. But going back to what I said earlier, you got to utilize it.
Yeah.
You got to utilize the shit that you know and the shit that you pick up.
Exactly.
And you got to actually put that and implement that into your business or into your life to actually see some type of change. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure for you, like, you're probably already starting to hang out with different people 100%. Than where you were a year ago.
Yep. Yeah, right? It's true. And let me ask you this too. Like you said, you're not wasting your time. There's probably tons of people that want to get inside your head, just like I did. Why? Like, what separated me from, some other random dude that was, hey, Tyler, can I come meet with you in your office and talk to you? I'm sure you've had people try and and you probably notice it, try and take advantage of your time or whatever, and just try and gain as much knowledge. What do you think separated me from sitting here and being on this podcast? Like, was there anything you noticed, or just for other people that are wanting to get in these type of positions?
For sure. That's a good question. That's a really good question, actually. I would say, dude, it was all about how you approached it. I would say your approach was very good. And obviously you knew Matt, right?
Yeah, so that helped.
Yeah, a little bit. But I would say that the way that you approach it and just how you randomly, like, you got, that was, like, to me, that was so random. Like, just the fact that you were randomly like, yo, I just want to get inside this guy's head.
Yeah.
What is this guy doing on a Sunday?
Yeah.
Like, when you're asking yourself those questions, that's the type of people that I want to let in my life.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, this guy is legitimately trying to do something here.
Yeah.
Not just, you know what I
Bullshit.
mean? Like, talk to me for an hour and then go back and scroll on TikTok for the fucking other 8.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And so that's something that I would say your approach where you literally were just like, fuck it, dude. And it really reminded me of myself because
Really?
how I met Justin Gio
Yeah.
was I saw his shit. Dude, same story, bro. I saw his shit on Instagram
Popping up.
and I actually messaged this guy and challenged him to 75 hard. And
Are
I
you
told
serious?
him, I'm serious, dude.
Holy shit.
I was like, if I beat you in 75 hard, if I outlast you, I want an hour of your time. And he said, deal.
Wow.
So, and I ended up winning, and we got an hour of his time, and now here we are, dude. So that really reminded me of myself, just the way you approached it.
Yeah.
And so that's honestly why.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because I figure there's people probably, you know, and once this channel starts ramping up and people start looking back at old videos too, like, these are all questions that people want answers to, right? Like, how do I get in these type of positions? I never thought today I'd be sitting on a podcast.
For sure.
I didn't think until I actually built something legitimate that I'd be in any position to be being interviewed or whatever, right? But, you know, you just got to put yourself out there in uncomfortable positions for sure.
And I would say, dude, like, you definitely got to give yourself a little bit of credit because you're doing the inputs right now. And any guy who has built anything knows that there's a lagging indicator to that, right? Like me, dude, I was putting in fucking hours and hours and hours and hours of time with nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Literally probably 2 years of time with literally nothing to show for it. And then finally it was like, fuck it. I gotta go balls deep here, and I gotta just do fucking whatever it takes to win. And so when that happened, that's when I started to see what was showing for it. But if that leg work is not done, well, you're working your 9 to 5 and you're going to the gym and you're doing the leg work and you're building that foundation, then all of this would not be possible.
Exactly.
Right? So the leg work is definitely necessary, and that is where a lot of people drop out. A lot of people stop at the legwork because it's constantly just input, right? You got to reinvest a lot of your money at that time.
100%.
And so you feel like you're not getting anywhere, but really you're actually building a foundation. You're learning, right? Exactly. And so the best way to learn is by doing, in my opinion, right? Where if you just get out there and just start a business, just get out there and try and start something.
Yeah.
Because you're going to learn way more than if you watch fucking 10 hours of a podcast.
Exactly.
You know, like the podcasts are really good.
Yeah.
And it's good to fill your brain with good shit. But at the same time, you also just got to go out there and fucking do it at some point. And you got to say, fuck it.
You got to be the guy on the podcast at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
exactly, dude.
It's unreal, man.
Dude, absolutely, man. Well, yeah, any last remarks for you?
Honestly, I just appreciate you having me on. Like, this is a huge opportunity for me. Like, as I said, I didn't think I'd be in this position right now, and I know it's nothing absolutely crazy, but it's just for me, you know, just in the last couple weeks of getting to know you guys, like, it's had the powerhouse effect. Like, it's fucking, I'm really feeling it now, and
fucking
it's
right,
awesome,
bro.
and I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's awesome, man.